Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything.
Welcome to Anti-slave question everything.
Question everything. Question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Welcome to Anti-slave question everything.
All right, hello and welcome to AntiSlaveQE. This is your host, Bo Diggles, and I am here to wreck fucking shop and drop some truth bombs. Today I have my buddy Carlos with me.
Hello.
Say what's up, Carlos.
What's up?
How are you doing today, buddy? What were you doing today?
I was picking mushrooms for a long period of the day and kind of enjoying the sight of fresh mushrooms growing.
It was pretty sunny out today.
It was.
It was a little sunny. It was a
I
little
was trying
sunny.
to get them before they dried up too much, and look, they were mostly dry, so I don't have to dry them out too much.
You go to a lot of your different spots?
No, there's just this one spot that it produces whenever it rains, and it's a year-round spot, and I just recently found this out, and so every time it rains, I go and I stop by there before I go to my storage unit and dig me some mushrooms.
You gotta
if
do
there
your
is.
little thing. Diggle some mushrooms, right? Okay, right on. So, all right, hello everybody. Again, this is Bo, AntiSlaveQE question everything. We're here on this is going to be the third episode, and of the little web series podcast El Dealio that I got going on. So I'm super excited to be here and flap my jaws with you guys today. My goal with this whole project is to dive deep into the dark souls of government conspiracy I could find, take a good gander at some things that just don't seem right. Whether it might be events of the past, something that's currently going on, or theories for what the future might hold, I intend to dive deep as fuck and definitely question everything. You guys can find me on Reddit. It's at r/AntiSlaveQE. My subreddit's popping. It's got conspiracy truth bombs that I'll be dropping on the fucking daily. You can hit me up on Twitter too. I'm on Twitter at AntiSlaveQE. Obviously, I'm here on YouTube and Spotify. I'm also up on BitChute and Instagram. I know I'm just saying a lot of shit right now. All the links to the social media and everything else will be provided within the link description to this video and or podcast if you're listening on Spotify. If you like what I have to say, please like and subscribe or follow if you're on Spotify. The more I reach, the more ability we have to red pill motherfuckers, and that's the whole point of this project. Additionally, if you have any crazy stories about conspiracies, paranormal, true crime, etc., and you'd like to talk about it on my show, you can email me at AntiSlaveQE@outlook.com. Lastly, if you're here listening or watching, your support is appreciated, and I love you so much. And with that, we can get on to our show. And additionally, though, I know I just stated that I'm here with my buddy Carlos. This is my brother from another mother, for anybody that would care to know. So give me a little introduction, buddy.
Well, I don't know how to do introductions very well, but
It's all good. Good friend of mine.
Yeah.
We've definitely homies, bro. We've gone back. We've gone back. We've been through the mix together. We've been questioning everything for some time now.
Yeah.
The two of us have been questioning a lot of shit for some time now. So it is fucking fancy in you,
The shit
buddy.
that we're being fed doesn't quite taste like the shit that it should.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're talking about today specifically is a very well-known government-ran experiment that took place during the 1950s and 60s in America, Canada, and various other parts of the world. All right, this experiment involved intense sessions of mind control studies using psychedelic drugs like LSD. We love LSD. And you already know that back in the day, if they were doing the 1950s, 1960s times, bro, we would be there at the doors of these CIA safe houses, knocking, bro, with puppy dog eyes, like,
We need a little bit, just a little bit.
LSD.
Just a sample.
Doctor, I'm getting inside of your sensory deprivation tincture if you just give me a little bit of that LSD. I heard that you've got the best LSD around.
Care if I take a try?
If I take a try. That's what they were doing back in the day, my friend. That's, and we're going to get into that. Okay, we're going to get into that. Like I said, it involved intense. So I got off on a tangent because I read LSD. Some of these sessions would leave some American citizens at best riddled with mental disorders and PTSD, and at worst, major brain-related trauma, and in many cases, death. Okay, there was one case of a guy, an MK Ultra. He was a scientist. Okay, and this is fucking funny. What they used to do to each other is that the MK Ultra scientists, they all kind of agreed collectively that that we will try the LSD together. Sometimes we do not know when the LSD is going to be administered, but there is always going to be LSD.
Just expect it at least once.
At least once, and I shit you not, I'm not even kidding. And so these guys they did tests on themselves, and they also did tests on other people, on American citizens, on Canadian citizens.
Most of them unknowing.
Exactly. Some of them were knowing, like the guy that wrote the book Two Fleas Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I think I was just listening to a video about this.
I think his name's Mike Lowry or something.
Something like that.
He was a part of the fucking CIA LSD experiments, and he loved that shit. He really did. And really, can you blame him? No. So, but like I said though, in some cases it causes death. There was one case of that one dude and I just went off on a thing and then I didn't go off on a thing. I went off on a thing and then didn't explain myself and then went off on another thing. So let me get back to what I was just saying. And that was that in many cases it led to death, because there are some motherfuckers that literally killed themselves because they were MK Ultra the fuck out. So this one dude, this one doctor, got dropped with the acid and he wasn't expecting it. And when he got dropped with it, he jumped out a 10th story window and committed suicide. So that sucks. It happened. It really did. So okay. And then in my little scripting thing, I said, of course, what I speak of is the infamous, now declassified Project MK Ultra. Now the CIA truly did treat the American citizens at this point like a bunch of expendable guinea pigs that they could test whatever they so choose to test on us all willy-nilly like, and it seems like a lot of people ended up fucked up.
Yeah, there's this, I can't remember her name, but she was stating that she wanted people to know that she was tested on, and she's taking many prescriptions now for mental health issues from the resonated effects of the psychedelics. And she's not the same anymore. There's a brothel where they had men, and they had these females, and they drugged these men with the LSD. And most of them didn't know, and then they watched them.
Brother.
They watched them fornicate the women.
Yeah, brother.
And all behind double mirrored windows.
Right.
And
right.
Just to see how it would go down, and they weren't sure if this was going to be something used. If it could be used as a weapon, if it could be used to help the American citizens, and so what better way to find out by testing on them, and the best, if they don't know they're doing it, that's the best results you're gonna get, because they don't know the outcome, so there's no mind trickery, they can't placebo themselves into thinking one thing or another, because they're unknowing of the dose that they're taking of
in
LSD.
the first place.
Yeah.
In the first place. And so it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's something I want to touch base on, and there's a name for that. There's a whole fucking name for that, and it's fucking hilarious what the name for the operation of said mind control studies in this brothel, because the operation for that was called Operation Midnight Climax.
That's right. That
Operation Midnight fucking Climax. Bro, these goddamn lizard people are out here making the most ridiculous bullshit that you could ever fucking think of. Operation Midnight Climax, because they might catch me out here in one of these brothels in a midnight climax. Operation Midnight Climax, bro. Who the fuck? Okay, that's amazing. That's fucking awesome. I love that shit. And yeah, you're right. They were. And that's one of the sketchy things that the goddamn CIA has done to us, American citizens. All right. And so MK Ultra had to start somewhere, right? It had to start somewhere. And it did start somewhere. And the reason why MK Ultra initially started is because during the Cold War, the American government was we had this fucking arms race going on. We had this arms race going on during the Cold War, World War I, II, blah, 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 where everybody was trying to stay on top of what they could try to stay on top of. Everybody had to be the next big runner-up, right? So we got word that maybe, out in the Soviet Russia, that they're fucking doing some MK Ultra type mind control experiments on prisoners of war. So here we're being like, they're not going to have a fucking arm up on us, cocksuckers. So as par protocol, we started doing the same shit that we thought maybe the Russians were doing. And like I said, it all had to start somewhere. So and it did all start somewhere. It started with the OSS. The United States established the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, and this agency was used for gathering of intelligence and espionage. After the war in 1947, the government realized that they could use this agency for worldwide intelligence gathering operations. So instead of using this as a tactic during time of war, they were now going to use this as just a tactic to use at all times, no matter what, against their own American citizens. And like they had to rebrand this tactic, and they had to rebrand said tactic, and they fucking doxed it under a new name. And there goes the creation of the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. Because at first, they used this intelligence gathering as a tactic of fucking war, like it was a war tactic, and then they applied said war tactics to the American citizen, and they made the CIA, which they were going to sit around and fucking be diggling around and getting all of our shit as they do. So. Back, it was the National Security Act of 1947 that initially set the foundation of the CIA in stone. And in the 1950s, it was the height of the Cold War. Government officials were afraid their enemies were using mind control on prisoners of war, blah, 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 blah. So in 1953, the director of the CIA at the time, Alan Dulles, approved Project MKUltra. And it has been declassified now at this point, and we know that there was over 150 types of experiments done, and they all involved humans in one way or another. It was sometimes conducted on people with or without their consent. It's all very, very wild and insane stuff. But we have an actual understanding of what MKUltra is now. So I really want to dive into some of the actual experiments. So, first and foremost. Oh my goodness. So we got what's her name? Her name's and okay, and another thing too is that this happened from anywhere from fucking in Canada to America, It was happening in Canada, it was happening in America. I mean, there was a whole lawsuit that happened that brought MKUltra to light, and that happened in 1977, I believe. And I have somewhere the whole scripted fucking thingy, The whole scripted interview, And what I think we're gonna go to next is I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna pull up some videos of some actual MKUltra fucking survivors, some interviews. All right, yeah. And then we're going to analyze some interviews, and then after we look at the interviews, I'm going to give y'all some insight. Me and Carlos are going to give y'all some insight on what we think, what the fuck is going on with that. All right.
It needs to be made clear that people have remembered these names and events spontaneously, with free recall, and without the use of any memory retrieval techniques such as hypnosis. As much as possible, we have tried to verify the memories with family members, records, and experts in the field. Many attempts have been made through Freedom of Information Act filings to gain access to the mind control research documentation. These requests have generally been slowed down or denied, although some information has been obtained, which suggests that at least some of the information supplied by these clients is true. It is important that we obtain all of the information contained in the CIA and military files to verify or deny our clients' memories. Although many of the files for MK Ultra may have been destroyed, whatever is left, along with the files for other projects, such as Bluebird and Artichoke, to name only two, contain valuable information. Furthermore, if, as the evidence suggests, some of these people were used in radiation experiments, there might be information in the mind control experiment files on radiation experiments. We need this information to help in the rehabilitation and treatment of many people who have severe psychological and medical problems which interfere with their social, emotional, and financial well-being. Finally, I urge you to recommend an investigation into these matters. Although there was a commission on mind control, it did not include experiments on children because most of them were too young or still involved in the research in the late 1970s to come forward. The only way to end the harassment and suffering of these people is to make public what has happened to them in the mind control experiments. Please recommend that there be an investigation and that the files be opened on the mind control experiments as they related to children. Thank you. And
Good afternoon.
So that was the first little look there at the first little bit of an interview. We have a little interval going on right now because we're gonna fucking light up a fucking Billy and smoke some fucking Kush.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, we're gonna have a little smoke break right now, and then me and Carlos are gonna play another fucking interview that we found that goes into a little bit more depth about like, because this is they're not really just these aren't interviews we're showing right now. These are testimonies from the trial that took place in 1977 when MK Ultra came to light in the first place, because it came to light because motherfuckers really took these guys to court, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when they're invited to what seems to be a, exciting time.
Cash party.
Yeah.
Cash kickback.
Next, you're sitting there and all fucking of what is reality is ripped apart from you and you don't even understand why. And then that just persists it just continues and continues and continues. And then you're just sent back home. What the fuck? How do you deal with that?
How?
How do you fucking how do you comprehend of what you just went through? And then when somebody's just saying like just keep doing this, blah, 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 and you're held captive in a cage, or you're held in some weird facility in another fucking country, or you don't know where you're at. You don't even know if the dude who is administering all these drugs to you is the real name of that person, because Dr. Green sounds like, sounds like it checks out. I was watching Wazowski. Always watching.
So, do you have a lighter?
I do not.
Sound of a torch, and we're there we go.
Macro torch.
That'll do it. So we're having a quick smoke break here at AntiSlaveQE Question and Everything. Just get a couple of these little ripsky dipskis in before we get back to getting back to. Always remember to question everything. And now we're going to get back to another part of the CIA trials.
I'm Christy Nicola, born July of 1962, rendering me 32 years of age. I was a subject in radiation as well as mind control and drug experiments performed by a man I knew as Dr. Green. My parents were divorced around 1966, and Donald Richard Ebner, my natural father, was involved with Dr. Green in the experiments. I was a subject from 1966 to 1976. Dr. Green performed radiation experiments on me in 1970, focusing on my neck, throat, and chest, 1972 focusing on my chest and my uterus in 1975. Each time I became dizzy, nauseous, and threw up. All these experiments were performed on me in conjunction with mind control techniques and drugs in Tucson, Arizona. Dr. Green was using me mostly as a mind control subject from 1966 to 1973. His objective was to gain control of my mind and train me to be a spy assassin. The first significant memory took place at Kansas City University in 1966. Don Ebner took me there by plane when my mom was out of town. I was in what looked like a laboratory and there seemed to be other children. I was strapped down, naked, spread eagle, on a table, on my back. Dr. Green had electrodes on my body, including my head. He used what looked like an overhead projector and repeatedly said he was burning different images into my brain while a red light flashed aimed at my forehead. In between each sequence, he used electric shock on my body and told me to go deeper and deeper, while repeating each image would go deeper into my brain, and I would do whatever he told me to do. I felt drugged because he had given me a shot before he started the procedure. When it was over, he gave me another shot. The next thing I remember, I was with my grandparents again in Tucson, Arizona. I was 4 years old. You can see from this experiment that Dr. Green used trauma, drugs, post-hypnotic suggestion, and more trauma in an effort to gain total control of my mind. He used me in radiation experiments both for the purposes of determining the effects of radiation on various parts of my body and to terrorize me as an additional trauma in the mind control experiments. The rest of the experiments took place in Tucson, Arizona, out in the desert. I was taught how to pick locks, be secretive, use my photographic memory, and a technique to withhold information by repeating numbers to myself. Dr. Green moved on to wanting me to kill dolls that looked like real children. I stabbed a doll with a spear once after being severely traumatized, but the next time I refused. He used many pain induction techniques, but as I got older, I resisted more and more. He often tied me down in a cage, which was near his office. Between 1972 and 1976, he and his assistants were sometimes careless and left the cage unlocked. Whenever physically possible, I snuck into his office and found files with reports and memos addressed to CIA and military personnel. Included in these files were project, subproject, subject, and experiment names with some code numbers for radiation and mind control experiments, which I have submitted in your written documentation. I was caught twice, and Dr. Green ruthlessly used electric shock, drugs, spun me on a table, put shots in my stomach, in my back, dislocated my joints, and hypnotic techniques to make me feel crazy and suicidal. Because of my rebellion and growing lack of cooperation, they gave up on me as a spy assassin. Consequently, the last 2 years, 1974 to 1976, Dr. Green used various mind control techniques to reverse the spy assassin messages to self-destruct and death messages.
All right, guys. So you have it right there. Fucking, literally programmed to fucking kill, bud.
Yeah,
What do you think about that shit, Carlos?
that's wild. I mean, I don't even. It's more than what I would have imagined.
Shit.
And
It's more than what's even fathomable. Like, legitimately. Like when you really start to think about it, right there. The lady was talking about how she said some stuff about fucking aimed to fucking stab dolls, looked like other kids. Okay, that right there, what that says to me right there, that is an MK Ultra agent that is made to fucking kill America. Okay? So they're doing that shit in the 1960s, 1970s, okay? And she's talking about late night in 1970s, 1960s when this was happening. Okay, everybody thought that the fucking MK Ultra project was only happening through the 50s through the 60s. Okay, that was a big thing that it was only happening through the 50s to the 60s. That's a big fucking arguing point of the whole MK Ultra thing. And you know what? I've had discussions with my mother. You know, I asked, right, Carlos? Because you always got to talk to your moms about shit. I said to my moms, because she said something to me, because she thinks I'm a far-right fucking extremist. You know, she thinks I'm this, that, because, you know, I fuck around with the conspiracies. But she said to me about the MK Ultras. I said to her, I was like, you know what about the MK Ultras? And she listened to this MK Ultra thing on NPR, okay? And on fucking NPR, bro. NPR. It's goddamn liberal media if you've ever seen it before anyways. But anywho, so what they look at and what they talk about on that shit, like they got a good point in some shits, but in other shits, it's like it's obviously this is a psyop. You know? It's obvious that this is fucking controlled media at some way, shape, or form, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It has to be, because I mean, they spoke about MK Ultra. NPR did a thing on MK Ultra, and so my mom knew what MK Ultra is. But my mom's a fucking shill, or she might as well be a shill, like, because she's just she'll eat whatever up. She loves it. I love my mother. God bless my mother. I love her. But yeah, whatever you'll tell her, or not whatever you'll tell her specifically, but whatever the goddamn fucking the liberal fucking republic tells her, she'll fucking eat that shit up. She loves it. But anywho, so NPR had mentioned something about MK Ultra, and all they had mentioned that it was like this. It was an experiment that had to make you do with forgetting things. So that's yeah. That's innocent.
The most generalized, non-suspicious.
Yeah, non-suspicious. Just
experiment on forgetting stuff.
Yeah, right. This is like the very minimum of like the most least sketchy part of the Men in Black. You know, just that makes you forget stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so NPR really spun that nicely on the whole MK Ultra fucking narrative. They really spun that nicely with, it's just a government program that makes you forget things. Yeah. They fucking no, that's the child rape victims. No, those aren't the victims of MK Ultra.
No.
But you fucking walked up to your fucking refrigerator, forgot what you wanted to grab. Was it a fuck? What am I doing here? What am I doing at the fridge? MK Ultra, you got me. No. That's not it. That's not it.
Real believable.
Real fucking believable, but no. So that they really, so NPR did a good job at trying to spin it to the GP that it might, is because my mom is the GP. And the thing is that my mom's the GP that might question things a little bit more, you know? So she looked at NPR to tell her fucking maybe what could be true, but that's just like, it just really goes to show with media. And the shit, how shit be, because my mom very, very barely looked into MK Ultra, and what my mom got from very barely looking into MK Ultra is it was just a fucking experiment that made you forget things, which is bullshit. Obviously, because of this given interview, like, holy fucking shit, that was intense, heavy shit.
For real, that was.
I mean, fuck, man.
Strapped down and
molested.
Yeah.
Molested. And you know, it's hard to talk about, you know, nobody wants to say the fucking molested word, but she was molested, and they get molested, and you know, it's just really crazy, and it's so, and here we also have a fucking we have an example of MK Ultra lasting a little bit longer than it was supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was said to fucking have been stopped after it went into the 60s, but it was like mid 60s it had been stopped. But we have reports and fucking talks here of experiments continuing on past into the 70s.
Yeah.
So right. So how was that? 50 years ago? 50 years ago.
Yeah.
It could be somebody's lifetime. I mean, many people's lifetime. 50 fucking years. So it's not like what we're talking about is irrelevant. It's not like what we're saying right now couldn't be relevant to what's happening in today's culture. Who's to say that Salvador Ramos wasn't just a fucking MK Ultra agent that just got activated and sentenced into a school and just let wreak havoc? You know? Who's to say that just wasn't some shit that just happened? I don't know. I really don't fucking know. But, Jesus Murphy. Jesus Murphy. What do you think?
I think that regardless of, they're only going to release so much to us, and because the CIA is behind, much more. There's Operation Mockingjay that started in the 50s or 60s. I'm pretty sure it was the 50s or 60s. It could be the 70s, but I'm pretty sure it was in the 50s. Of where the CIA has the final outcome of whatever media that goes to the public, and so with that, they're only letting us know what they want us to know, and what they think they want us. But we're not buying it. We're not buying the
We ain't buying that shit, bitch.
Fuck that.
Fuck no, dude.
We know some shit's going on. This shit don't make sense anymore.
It does not, dude. And in a time and space when MK Ultra agents could be running motherfucking rampant on our shit, God only motherfucking knows what's happening out in these streets, man. Seriously, God only knows, man. But honestly, so that was our take. That was our deep dive on MK Ultra, and that was our examples and the shit that we literally took from a fucking trial, bro. Okay, that wasn't some shit that somebody pulled out of their ass. Okay, that shit was from a motherfucking courtroom in the United States and the motherfucking whatever the fucks, Americas. So you know what? You see that shit and you motherfucking question that shit and get back to me on it. God bless you. God bless America. We out this motherfucker. Peace.